Nipple position. This is where I marked his nipples to be at the beginning of the case when he was standing up, and now look where they are.
What makes this a really great case is it's a combination of gynecomastia and massive weight loss. And the other thing that makes it interesting is not just the front chest, but it's also the side and a little bit onto the back that really gets affected with this combination of having gyno and then losing a lot of weight. If you're gonna look at him just from the front, you can see that he's got a severe grade 4 gynecomastia. Conventional gynecomastia surgeries with liposuction and cutting out the gland don't work for this type of gyno because that only addresses the fullness, but it will definitely not address the skin laxity or the low nipple heights. I have to do a double mastectomy with free nipple-areola grafts to address the front. Look where his nipples are. His nipples are not even on his pec muscles. They need to be up here somewhere. There's an additional issue with his chest, and it doesn't involve the front. It involves the side chest. And what I mean by that is he's got all this extra skin and fat on the sides too that got worse with the weight loss. What this does from a clothing standpoint, it means you gotta wear bigger shirts, especially those buttoned up shirts. You can't even button them in the size you'd wanna wear because it doesn't fit from here or here. Why you can't lipo this is because this is not just extra fat, it's skin laxity. So it's basically sitting on here, so if I just lipoed it, it'll get deflated, but it won't get tighter. What that means surgically is I don't stop the surgery just here. I gotta cut out all this. And I always preach that everything has to be harmonious, right? I mean, it can't look like two different people. The front has to match the side, has to match the back. This side roll that he has actually extends onto the back. If I just stopped here, he'd have what's called a dog ear. The other thing we talked about was that he wasn't happy with these rolls too. Now, these rolls are not from gyno. These are lower back rolls. Treating the gyno doesn't really treat that, and guess what? A lower body lift doesn't treat this either, because I'm gonna show you doing a lower body lift pulls down this way, and that doesn't do anything for this. And so the only way to treat this is just to extend this incision almost all the way, if not all the way, to lift all of this up. And what that does is it pulls that up. You see, and that is a much better contour that will be more in line with the side and front chest contouring that I'm gonna do. Starting him face down so I can do the back, the upper back lift, and I made the incision. I raised these skin flaps. This here's his latissimus muscle on either side. I measured out how much skin. This was my original marking, so I can actually take even more skin than I initially planned when he was standing up. So I'm gonna make this cut here, remove this, and start closing. But you can already see from this to that how much more tightness you get by doing this back lift versus just ending it right here. Here's the completed upper back lift, and you can see a nice curvilinear incision. The skin is a lot tighter now. I took out almost 2 pounds of tissue. And the little bulges on the sides of each chest is just the kind of the side chest that I couldn't get to that I will address once we flip him over. And this back lift will do wonders for the rolls on his mid-back. Now he's back down, I'm looking at his chest, and I'll show you here. You can already see how much better this contours. A lot of that fullness that he had, that big roll, is gone. First gonna make the areola smaller, take that off, cut out all of this, and then close. And then in closing that, that's gonna end up being like this once it's closed, a nice smooth line.
finished closing everything. He's seated up, and I marked where I want the new areola nipple to be. I've already thinned this out to the level of a skin graft, and so I'm gonna just take off this skin and sew this into position, and that'll make it the completion of the case, and then I'll bring you back in for a final case recap. So this patient came to me with massive grade 4 gynecomastia and severe weight loss that left him with really low hanging breasts, as well as a lot of fullness on his side chest that went onto his back. And so you can see now he's sitting up about 50, 60 degrees. Look at the contour now. Very nice symmetric incision, nice pec contour. And nipple position, this is where I marked his nipples to be at the beginning of the case when he was standing up, and now look where they are. Right on his pec muscle in the appropriate position, not looking down at the floor. And I'm gonna guide your attention to the side chest here too. He had that huge flap of extra skin and fat there, and you can see now that contour is nice and smooth, very taut. He did a lot of hard work with guided exercise. He just couldn't get rid of the extra skin. He couldn't fix his nipple position, and that's where I came in. I also ended up removing about 5 pounds of tissue off of him, but it's not just a matter of the actual weight, it's the contour difference. So it's gonna look like he lost way more than 5 pounds. I call it doing the finishing carpentry. And so now all I gotta do is get his dressings on, get him to the recovery room, and now this could be even better motivation for him to continue working out, because now his chest matches the rest of his frame. Till next time, guys.